Hello and welcome to Friday with Fiona. Take my glasses off because I can't see anything. And so we're into October. The tree across the road from me is just starting to turn. Beautiful, love this time of year. Blue sky. Who knows how long it lasts. But anyway, welcome to Friday with Fiona on October the 4th. So I'm starting a series of how to get started with paper crafting. I held my first get-together, in-person get-together on Wednesday for the University of the Third Age, and there were some people there who had never crafted before, including one gentleman, and it was great. I absolutely loved it. And so I thought I would start right back at the basics and take you through each stage. So today we're going to start with card bases, matting and layering and glues. And then I'm going to move on to how to get to stamps and ink next week. Ribbons and embellishments the week after, and colouring, and then there's loads more to follow. You've got fun folds, you've got embossing, you've got die cutting, you've got fussy cutting, so lots to show you. So let's get rid of my face and get started. Oh no, where's my face gone? Hang on, there we go, I'm there. Hello. Right, okay, so that's my schedule. Just wanted to run through that with you. So I talked on Wednesday about the need to have a basic toolkit, which some of the people have asked me to put together for them. So I use these cases. You can use little pouches, whatever. I've got a microfiber cloth. When we get to the stamping, that will make more sense. A pair of paper snips. These are the best scissors I have ever used. They are incredible. I have 2 pairs for cutting and 1 pair for ribbon, and I tie ribbon around my ribbon ones because cutting paper does make them go a little bit blunt, and then when you're cutting your ribbon it kind of frays. I've got a 6-inch ruler or a 15-centimetre ruler, bone folder and a glue eraser. So I just wanted to show you, and there's other things you can put in there like tweezers, pencils for marking things, but those are kind of your key essentials. And the other thing that you will need, which we'll come on to, will be a paper the bin mail just arrived, apologies for the noise. Paper trimmer, which I'm going to show you in a second, and glues. So I said I would talk about glues. So I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I use Stampin' Up products. So I wanted to just share with you, so this is called Seal and it's a glue runner. So basically, I've got something here. Let me just pop these flowers on this bonnet. Okay, so I'm just going to literally run that along there. I don't know if you can see. Oh, where's my camera? Yeah, there you go. See the glue there, and then it will just stick down. Now if you don't press it down too hard, the brilliant thing about this is if you've put it in the wrong place, you can peel it back up without affecting what you've used. If you press it down too hard, then it gets a bit more tricky. Then we've got glue dots. Now these are great. They're great for adding ribbon and embellishments, and also things onto like glimmer paper, which is tough. So there you've got. These are called mini glue dots, but I don't think they're that. Can you? I don't know if you can see them actually. Oh, hang on, I'll get them on camera. I need to make my screen bigger so I can see what I'm doing. Nope. Cancel. Go back. I'm trying to get it under the light. Oh, let me rip this bit off. And there's one there, right on the end. No, it's not. There you go. Literally, they're dots, and they are really useful. Then you've got tear and tape, and this is if you need some strong glue, like if you're making bags or boxes that you want them to stay together for a long time. And then the idea of this is that you just tear it. like that. I tend to use scissors, but that's just because I have arthritis and I do find tearing a bit tricky sometimes. So and then these, I think my favourites are these are we call them dimensionals. So I don't know if you can see that they're this width, and you use them when you want to raise things up. Now let me see if I've got a card with where I've used them. I've used them here. No, that's Velcro. I haven't used them there. I lied. Let me see if I've got a card where I've used them. Yes. So I've used them twice on this one. No, I haven't. I've used them once. I stuck those down. So I've embossed the brown paper, and then you can see I've raised it, and that's what you use the dimensions. So literally they're giving dimension to your project. So they are lovely. Love them. I think you'll find most Stampin' Up! Demonstrators absolutely love them. And then finally it's liquid glue, which I do love, but it can be very easy for it to go wrong, because usually you only need a little bit, and especially in a new one, which this is, a lot can come out and then it kind of messes up your project. Too much glue will wet the paper. It literally wets the paper, and then it won't look right. And I do store it upside down like that. So it's that one. And that's kind of it about the glues. You'll see me using them kind of more through the series as we go on. Now my card, sorry, I get from Stampin' Up, and it will come in a pack like this. This is the basic white, which is probably, it's a pack of 40, and it's probably what gets used the most for matting and layering, which I'm going to go through with you today. So that's how it comes, and then I've just got an individual sheet there. And now I'm going to introduce my trimmer. So this is a Stampin' trimmer. So it actually goes this way around, but I don't know why I prefer it that way. I think mainly because when the arm comes out, I'm short-sighted even with glasses, so it's when the arm comes out, it's down near me so I can read it. It has centimeters and inches, and you can get an arm in either inches or centimeters. Well, you have to pay extra to get the metric one, I think. I've got a scorer, so I should explain what that is, and a cutter. All right, that's a blade. And then scoring, so I've got in fact, let me get a blank one. So this is what I've already done, and I've folded it in half. So this is half a sheet of an A4. So our sheets in the UK are A4. And this is half a sheet of A4. And we call this colour Poppy Parade, so red. Okay. And it's been cut, and then I've scored it in half to get my my card base. And that, I have to say, that's not being done terribly well, so I need to sort that out. So I'm going to that is too thin for a card base, so let me get something a bit thicker. Let's get a real red, because it's I'm going to be making Christmas cards. So as I said, this is an A4 sheet of paper. Now, depending on which way you want it to fold, let me show you. So this one, I like to fold them like that, is landscape. A lot of people do them as tent cards. I don't personally like that, because I think they go like that. And if somebody's got it on a windowsill, then it goes like that. I think it's, so I do it like that, and it stays much better. And then my portrait ones, again, people do them as tent folds to get the landscape, but I do it as a portrait one. So that is how I do my folding of my cards, my card bases. Right, so I've got a piece of real red, and it measures 29.6 by 21. So if I was going to do one of my landscape cards, I would cut it in half at 10.5. Okay, and that would give me the landscape one. I do tend to mainly do portrait ones. I don't know why, just I guess I just prefer them. Excuse me, I just having some water. So I'm going to cut this at so I'm going to do a portrait one. So I'm going to cut this at 14 point. No, I'm not. I'm going to cut it this way at 14.8, and that will be half. So I'm basically just cutting my A4 sheet of paper, sheet of card, in half, which leaves me with 2 bits of A5. Okay, I'm going to take the A5. So that is now 21 by 14.8, and I'm going to score it. Let me see if I can get this in screen. I can't. Let me do it at an angle. Okay, so this is a cutting blade, the dark one. So I don't want that one. I want that out of the way for now. And this beige one is my scoring blade. So I'm going to line that up at 10.5, and I'm going to run it along a couple of times, and I've got a crease line there. Now, let me get this out of the way. The creases are named. So if you're watching a video or reading about something, you might hear about the valley. Let's see if that makes it any better. That makes it worse. That's better. The valley. So if I put my finger, my nail can run down there. That's the valley. And over here, we've got a bump, and that's the mountain. You can see that. Now I'm going to take my bone folder, and this is really, really important to get a really good crease. And in fact, if you've got a good bone folder, you can actually fold it over without doing the scoring bit. I personally never do. And then I'm going to go from all the way up, and I do it twice to make sure I've got a really good crease, and that helps with the standing up. So there you go. That's how to cut a card base. So that is a portrait one, and then, as I said, this is a landscape one, and it's been scored. So that's my, well, it was a valley. I don't know what's happened to it really. And that's a mountain. And some reason it's not, I don't think it's been folded properly. I'm just going to line it up and try. And I've got a bit of a bump here, so it might help it. So it was looking like it needed trimming. It was a bit jagged. And you can see I've got a little bit at the end here. Can you see that? And that's basically, that is the back, and that means it's easier for people to open it. Just gives them a little bit of leeway. It's probably a bit too much on that. Okay, so that is how to do a card base. And then once we've got our card base, now I'm actually going to do, no, I don't want that one, I want this one. I'm actually going to do, I talked about mats and layers. Okay, so this is the card base. And I need some, I've got something. So this is paper. It's much, much thinner, more flexible. And that's what you use for your, that's the wrong way. I think we'll use something else. I'm not, let's have some red and green, shall we? Let's go with this. Right. Okay, so I'm going to take this designer series paper. And when you're doing, I've got my basic white here. And I'm going to do the next layer, if it's in cardstock, it's called a matte. And I'm going to do this, and I want the red to show. So it's up to you, but there are certain measurements. So now I know that this is 10.5 centimeters wide by 14.8 height. Okay. Now I can reduce it by half a centimeter. You don't probably want to go too much, but I do want the red to show. So if I go down, let's do it. I'll show you. I'm going to cut this down to, you can tell which is the wrong and the right because there's like a bit of a rough bit on a card. I'm going to go down to 10 by 14.3. So I've taken a half a centimetre off. And I keep my scraps, especially the white, because they're very useful for doing sentiments. So now I've got my mat, and that's 10.10 by 14.3, and that will give me a little bit of red all the way around, but I'd kind of like more. So I'm going to take another half off, and we'll go down to 9.5 by 13.8, and we'll see how that looks. Okay, that's quite nice. I'm going to do another one where I take more off so that I can show you what a difference it makes. And then I've got my green and red paper. So that was 13.8 by 9.5. So I don't want a lot of the white to show. I'm going to go to 9. Nine by, so it's 13.8, so it'll be 13.3 will be half a centimetre off. Oh, that was the score. Right. So then that will have a white surround around it. And that's half a centimetre off. Now that's actually probably a little bit more white than I want. But it is picking up, it's making it pop. So let me just get that out of the way. I'm just going to glue this, and then I want to show you the difference if I made it even smaller. So I'm going to take my seal, and I've got one that's just about finished. I'll finish that one off. I normally test it on my hand just to get the sticky. That's it. And I'm going to do it at the bottom and a little bit. You don't need to go all the way around because you're using a lot of glue then. Okay, now on my glass mat, which doesn't look straight in the, hang on. That's better, sorry, it wasn't straight. I can line up so I can see where a 1/4 of a centimetre is. And think, actually, I'm thinking this is not the right measurements. Let me just 9.5. No, that's right. And then this is 9. Oh, that's right. Okay. The best way I do it is I do it by eyeing it, and is if you get the 3 sides equal, you know that the 4th side is going to be okay. Famous last words. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it. It's not quite straight, but just lift that bit up. I had already pushed it down, so that's why it's okay. And there you go. And so you've got your white all the way around. And then I'm going to pop that on there. And now you can see I've got my red, and it kind of makes the red presents pop. Really pretty. So get my sticky. I'm just going to do it at the corners actually. And then a bit in the middle. And again, I'm going to eyeball it. So if I've got this side and top and bottom equal, then the 4th side should be equal. And try and get it straight. There we go. So that is matting and layering. So that was reducing it by a centimetre. So I've got 1/2 centimetre all the way around, and then the white is reducing it by 1/2 centimetre. So I've got 1/4 centimetre all the way around, and that's pretty. So I'm just going to bring the trimmer back in, and I've got my other half of the card. So again, this is 14.8 by 21. So I'm going to score it in half at 10.5. I don't want the cutter. I want the, let's bring it round so you can see. I don't want the cutting blade. I want the scoring blade. I'll do it a couple of times because I'm at a funny angle. There we go, get that. And we'll need it again in a minute. And I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to line my edges up. And I'm going to use my bone folder. And I get a really good crease. And then, as I said, you've got the little bit to open it. Right, so this time I'm going to go smaller just to show you the difference. So I'm going to cut my white down to, now that was 9.5. This time I'm going to go really small. I'm going to go up to 8.5. By 12.5. And this is a measurement I've seen other demos use. I tend to use it for my inserts, not on my outside, but actually I do like the red to pop. And can you see there straight away, I'll bring that in, I've got a much bigger frame around my card, okay? And then I'm going to want to do the same with my paper, but I want a really thin bit of white. So that was half a centimetre. So I'm going to do it less than half a centimetre this time. So what's that? That's 8.5. So if I do it at 8.2.5, roughly, and I want it to go to, so that was 12.5. So it'd be 12.2.5. 4 7/8. Okay, I'm trimming it up there, and then I'm going to turn it round so that I can see these measurements along the bottom. And I want 12, 2.5. And I can see where my line is. So that's what I love about this trimmer. I can line it up there. Oh, do you know what? I've done that. I've done that wrong. It's this bit here I want. That's okay. Just take my cutter up there. There we go. So that is now 8.2.5, 8.8, 8.25, and 12.25. So the trimmer can now go away. I need to sort my craft room out, and then I really want to do a tour of my craft room where I've got it organised. And can you see there, I'm going to get much, much less white round. So let's put the seal on. I'm going to line this up. No. Okay, didn't quite get it straight, so it's just, and that's the good thing. If you haven't pressed it down too hard, you can undo it. The other way you can is if you have a heat gun, you can run the heat gun over it and it will undo the glue. There we go, that's better. And then I'm going to pop that onto my card base. And I'm just eyeballing it. There we go. So exactly the same. I've used, oh, I'm so sorry. What's happened? I am so sorry. I don't know when that went. I think I must have moved the mouse somehow. Right. So can you see the difference it makes? And they look completely different. And then all you would need to do is put a sentiment on. So you'd get a banner or something, and you would stamp your sentiment, or even you can use stickers and things like a happy Christmas, or it could even be birthday. My stepmother has a birthday in December. So so let me just see, have I covered everything? So we were talking about the toolkit to start with, your basic essentials. So scissors, ruler, bone folder, they're the absolute essentials. And then the card bases, I showed you how to cut and score a card base. Then I showed you how to cut your mat, which is the card, and then your layer, which is the paper. And that's it from me for this week. So next week we'll be moving on to, so as I said, you'd need to put some sort of sentiment on there, so we could stamp that. So I will go through stamps and inks with you next week. But I hope you enjoyed that. I'm sorry about the camera changing over. Please, if you enjoyed this, I'd love to get some likes for the algorithm. My email, sign up. You can sign up for my email, which is where I tell you about all my classes and special offers and things, and they will be posted as well. Thanks for watching, and have a wonderful weekend.